Welcome to Life is Short, So Am I, the podcast where we embrace the beauty of every moment. I'm your host, Sitinna, and together we'll dive into the world of pop culture, delve into the depths of my personal life, and uncover the remarkable stories of everyday heroes. Our goal? To spread joy, positivity, and kindness in a world that can sometimes feel overwhelmingly negative. So, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, settle in, and get ready for a podcast that will leave you feeling uplifted and inspired. Hey everyone, welcome to Life is Short and So Am I. I am your host, Sitinna, and this is
Yecenia. Hello.
Yes, this is one of my really, really good friends. We do a lot of things together. We hang out a lot. And we have known each other for like a year and a half, I think. Yeah. And so I really wanted to have her on because she knows a lot of things about a lot of things.
A few things.
Yeah. A lot of things about a lot of things.
Don't oversell me now.
She is going for her Ph.D. in Theology.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I will know a lot of things about something soon.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. So at some point, she's going to be Dr. Yecenia.
Sounds so weird.
I know,
yeah.
But I'm going to call you Doctor.
Please don't.
I'll introduce you as that every time. So we're going to do kind of a deep dive into like theology and kind of what set her on this path, because it's kind of unique, honestly.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, like
it's
how
weird, but I
you
think
got
that there is a place for it. So
yes, there is, and I'm super excited to hear about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's that. How are you doing?
Good. It was a crazy morning.
Yeah.
But it all worked out perfectly well. So I feel good.
Hey.
Yeah, I feel
that's
calm.
A good thing.
Yep.
Calm and cool as a cucumber,
yeah.
as people would say.
Yeah, one of my favorite places. I love this couch. So
this couch is so nice. I don't have a couch yet.
Yeah.
You notice that?
I have those. You have chairs to sit on.
Yes, 2.
Yeah.
And then if anyone else wants to come over, I have a air mattress that people can lay on or sit on.
That's the thing.
The floor is comfier than those chairs, though.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're cute to look at. But I'm very excited to get a couch at some point.
Yeah. No, couch shopping was fun for me. I liked it.
Yes. And so you know how I've been jobless, unemployed.
I do know what that's like. Yes.
You know what that's like.
I know what that's like. Yeah.
We both are unemployed from the same organization, actually.
We both got laid off at different times.
Yes, laid off just due to like funding availability and whatnot. So our positions were evaporated, which is sad. But here we are. So you want to know what I've been doing in my week?
Please tell me. Because you with extra time, like, please tell me what you've been doing with it, because I think it'll make me laugh.
So I never have, okay, this is going to be a shock to a lot of people, but I have never watched all of the Harry Potter movies.
Right.
And, people will, say, oh, what house are you? Are you Hufflepuff? Or are you this? Or are you that? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I think I'm Ravenclaw for the record, but I don't know.
See? What? Maybe I'm Slytherin. Just kidding.
You're definitely not. I think you are Hufflepuff, but continue.
I'm Hufflepuff.
I think maybe you are, but continue.
And I don't even know, what makes you a part of these houses. What is it about me that's that screams Hufflepuff?
You're a hard worker and bubbly.
Oh.
Yeah. And I like intellectual things, so that's Ravenclaw. And, courageous and all about moral standards is Gryffindor. It's Harry Potter and all. And then there's ambition, which usually you have to step on people to get where you're going.
That's Slytherin.
That's Slytherin.
That makes sense. Wow. See, I'm really new to this. I've literally this weekend.
Look at you there.
Oh my gosh, stop.
I'm so happy for your journey.
Thank you. So I've never seen all of them. I watched the first one in Hungary. A few years ago.
Oh,
yes.
That's cool.
Back in 2017, I remember watching the first one there, and it had Hungarian subtitles because my friend, her parents spoke Hungarian, but she spoke English and I spoke English, so they just had the subtitles. But it was good. I liked it, and so then but I didn't watch the rest of them. So now I am on number 6. I'm about to watch 6 tonight.
I am so excited for you. I really do like that one.
I'm obsessed.
I think it's like it's just one of the the more fully dramatic movies. Like adults tend to like the last two movies a lot more than the kids. Yeah. It's kind of like it takes this dark turn.
Yeah.
And anyway,
I'm excited.
You're gonna love it.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait for us to talk about it.
Yes. And so now all of my friends, such as Yecenia, and I have a couple of other friends who are absolutely obsessed, and they would always be like taking these quizzes like at work if it was like really slow.
I was doing that yesterday here at my own home. There's a Harry Potter booklet
quiz
with like logic puzzles and crosswords, and
yes,
it's just Harry Potter. I'm 35, it's fine.
Oh my gosh. You're like, it's fine, don't worry about it. No, but like, this is what I've been doing with my free time. So last week, I was working on learning about podcasting.
Right.
Understanding like how, I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to like, I don't know any of it. Like the audio, the interface, what is all that? Like I had no idea. And so I decided to do a deep dive.
There you go.
Like I literally stayed home most of the week, and I was just like wrapped up in a blanket. And Ryan would come home and be like, oh, like she's still here.
Just feverishly working.
Yes, and I'm like, acting like it's my full-time job when it's not.
I mean, it is though. You just don't get paid yet.
Yeah, I'm an unpaid intern.
It's fine.
It's fine. And so I've been doing that, and then I got obsessed with a show called The Summer I Turned Pretty. Absolutely obsessed.
You told me about
Jenny
that.
Han.
Is that like a drama?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a drama.
Like a mystery, suspense?
No.
Or like comedy drama?
No, like
rom-com.
But like not comedy. Like some of it's comedy, but like it's very dramatic.
Okay.
Like have you seen One Tree Hill?
Mm-hmm.
That's like in your time.
What does that mean?
That means that it was early 2000s.
First of all, what does that mean?
You never
Should I be offended? That
No.
sounds like an old show. And I'm going to say it.
No! One Tree Hill, I watched all 9 seasons with my mother one summer.
With your mother.
With my mom. We were obsessed.
But it's my time.
Shut up.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'll just leave it there.
Okay, we'll leave it there. No, she's like 25, right?
35, yeah.
Oh, 35. She's 35.
Whatever. Nice attempt at a recovery. I'll take
I really
it.
tried.
I'll accept it.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
It's like a 2.5 out of 10, isn't it?
Yes.
For recovery.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of like that. It's like dramatic. This girl who goes to this beach house with her mom and her brother all the time, and the beach house is with her mom's best friend and their 2 boys, and then there's a love triangle, and it's very dramatic. It's definitely like it's about teenagers, but they're not teenagers clearly, and so it's great. And people are like, I'm Team Jeremiah, or I'm Team Conrad, or blah blah blah, and like it's great.
Okay.
So great. So I watched all of them. Now there's only 2 seasons on Amazon Prime, and I was like, well, there's 3 books, so therefore I guess I have to go read the books now. So I read all the books in 1 week.
Totally normal.
Yeah, it's super normal. And then I started watching the Harry Potter movies on Friday, and I'm on number 6 tonight. And it's only Monday.
You know what, though? You're keeping yourself busy. Better than just laying on the couch wasting away or something.
And I've gone to the
you
gym
have a
every
couch.
day. I'm laying on the floor wasting away.
Yeah.
And I have been going to the gym every day.
Yeah.
My lower back is really sore. So
yeah.
I feel like I've been trying to keep myself pretty like entertained.
Yeah, those goals are important.
Oh man.
From having been unemployed much longer than you.
I've been unemployed for like a week and a half.
Yeah, she's just starting. You keep those goals. You really do need like projects.
Yes, because if
I think we're alike in that way. You need projects.
Yes, if I don't have a project or something that I'm doing, because I'm not working, I feel like a piece of crap.
Yes,
I'm like, I'm lazy and this and that.
Inaccurate, but I understand. I have a hard time fighting that too.
Yes, because like I feel like, wow, I'm not contributing anything to society.
That's
how I feel.
We got laid off from social work jobs, and we're not out there helping people, and like that doesn't mix well. That's not a good recipe.
It's not a good.
It's
a recipe for disaster. Because
yes.
I'm like, wow, that person under the bridge. Maybe I should go be friends.
And I know it's like it's not so simple as like, oh, you don't have a job, you're a loser, because I do have a job now. It's part-time.
Yeah.
And I still feel like a loser because I need to be doing social work stuff.
Exactly.
And so I'm trying.
I need to do a job, like not just like, no offense to anyone who does retail or anything, like we need those people.
It just speaks to our soul to do social work.
Exactly. For me, I really just like customer service. Yes, that's great, but I really want to do social work and like help people in like who are vulnerable.
Give me some crises. Throw them my way.
Yes,
Help
exactly.
me sort through.
Like
that's what I
want
want
to solve problems for people.
Yeah.
Find
That's what
solutions.
I like putting out fires.
Same. I like living in the chaos.
Yep.
So. Oh, that's the dogs.
He's fine.
It's okay.
We're gonna ignore that.
We'll ignore the sound, just so you know. You might hear it every now and again.
Yeah. My dog is not happy to be in the garage.
No, but he'll be okay.
It's cooler in there for him.
Yeah, better than being outside.
Yeah.
So there's that. So anyway, yeah, those are some of my like intro questions. Thought I'd ask them before we deep dive into kind of you and like, where the heck are you from? I know you went from Texas.
No, I am from Texas, and I will never get used to this heat. That is for sure.
It's 110.
For how many days now, by the way?
Yeah, and we haven't gotten any rain. Southern California is getting like tropical storms.
Dude,
and now we're getting, and we got nothing.
It looks like a desert in my yard because it's scorched the grass that's designed to live in places like this.
It's so sad. We have a red flag warning. Do you know what that is?
I know. It sounds like people might die.
It's basically, I guess, a way of saying fire warnings.
Oh yeah, because it's dry.
Yeah, because it's so dry.
Okay, that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even remember the question you asked to start. Oh yeah, I'm from Wisconsin.
Where are you from? Wisconsin?
I'm from Wisconsin.
I don't know why I say it like that.
Every time. Everyone says it wrong but us, so it's okay.
Well, that's cute.
We're from Wisconsin. I was born and raised there. So my parents are from like the Milwaukee area. That's where they met anyway.
Yeah. And
that's where almost like pretty much all the Puerto Ricans are kind of congregated in Milwaukee. But then I grew up in the Madison area with my siblings. So I left after my first year of college. And then I joined the Army.
Yeah.
And then I just haven't been back but for visits. And I love it and I miss it, but just my life has brought me here, so this is where I'll stay.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna stay in Texas forever?
Probably like 20 years, which is...
That's a long time. That's basically forever.
Basically forever. I really... Wow. I made my son a promise when I got out of the Army a couple years ago that we wouldn't move anymore unless, like... We just wouldn't, we're going to stay somewhere for a long time, at least until you finish school, because he had moved like 7 times by the time he was in pre-K,
That's insane.
Yeah, that's really hard on him, on us, and so... Milana, my daughter, she was born in Ohio, but our last move was from Ohio to here, so she only had to move once, and I want to keep it that way. Like, I want to give them the chance to put in roots.
He got out.
How did he?
I knew it.
How did you do that? Okay, it's okay. Come here. Can you sit here?
Yeah, you can sit there.
Okay, just sit here.
Okay, just
buddy. I don't know how he got out of 2 doors.
That's impressive.
2 doors.
How did you get out?
He's so proud of himself.
I know, look at him. Are you proud?
You should be.
Why? Anyway.
Impressive. So I'm from Wisconsin, and I lived all kinds of places in between because I was active duty, so a lot of bouncing around to different states after that.
That's fun. So you went from Wisconsin to you went to West Point.
Right. Yep. So
there's that.
There's that. I did my undergrad at the military academy at West Point, and so I lived in New York for 4 years. And then I went to Missouri to do my military police training after I got commissioned. Yes. Then I went to El Paso, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
For my first assignment. So I was really excited having come from Wisconsin to go to Texas the first time because I was like, it'll be warm always.
Yeah. And then you went to El Paso and you were like,
I was like, oh,
you don't like El Paso.
There's no grass out here.
You're
just
like,
rocks.
This is not it.
Yeah. Then it was Fort Hood, Texas.
I've heard bad things about Fort Hood.
I have so many stories about Fort Hood. I like Fort Hood better than Fort Bliss, but yeah, it's a mess there.
Yeah.
Then I went back to Missouri for like 8 months for more training, and then I went to Fort Riley, Kansas. And then from Fort Riley, Kansas, I was deployed for a while, so I was kind of bounced between Kuwait, Qatar. And then after that, my last duty station was in Columbus, Ohio. I did ROTC there. I was an instructor. And then I got out.
Wow.
So it was a lot of moving. And, there was some moving in between, like, from house to house in those places.
Yeah. And, like, you were pregnant at one point, right?
Yeah. I was
in the military?
Yep. I was pregnant. I was pregnant when I was in El Paso and Fort Hood with my son. And I was pregnant when I was in Columbus, Ohio with my daughter.
Did you notice?
So first and last.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you notice, like, were you treated any differently because you were pregnant or because you were a woman? Like, I would love to hear those, like, sexist
like,
stories.
where do I start? Oh,
yes. Oh, bye.
Oh, he's bigger than he realizes. He's still growing.
Oh, don't.
Please don't knock over the cords.
No, nobody.
Oh, this guy
gosh. Okay, go ahead.
We can
I think we can breathe, maybe.
well, like here, while I only think about, there's so many. Where do I even start? So yeah, it was, from the beginning, it was always a different set of rules for me. Mm-hmm. It was. And I kind of just accepted from the beginning that the game wasn't fair.
Yeah.
And that...
between men and women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I was going to have to... Like, I had a higher standard. If I wanted people to take my word at face value or respect me as a leader, I was going to have to make sure I really didn't make any mistakes. You know, I was really going to have to deliver, and I was really going to have to... I just felt like the need to overperform so that way I could just get on the same playing field as everyone else. You know what I mean? Please don't bite me. And that really proved to be true, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That was just kind of the baseline. He's doing puppy things.
Yeah. Do you have something to chew on?
He's got a bone in his kennel.
Go get your bone.
Yeah, go get your bone.
Go get your bone.
Oh, it's driving me nuts.
You were supposed to stay in the other room.
I know. Come here.
Oh.
Come on. Ugh. Okay. He's so big.
I know.
He won't die.
You're like, he won't die. He'll be fine.
He won't.
He'll somehow come back in. I want to know how he came back in.
He got it through 2 doors.
Yeah.
They're both wide open.
Oh my goodness.
Dog ain't normal.
That is not a normal dog, girl.
Goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, like, I'm impressed, although annoyed.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, okay, it's different. It was different. I mean, like, a tiny example. So, you know, they would always, the common advice was that when you were in a leadership position, because I was an officer.
Yeah. This could be very interesting.
What am I going to do with this rat?
No.
Is it done?
Are you done? It's okay, I'll just have to cut a lot of it. It's fine. No, it's fine.
Normally it just sits.
It's just because of all the cameras. He's probably
like, okay, so like, for example, a common just like piece of advice was for, when you were in a leadership position like I was, to get to know...
You just have to talk louder.
Okay. To get to know, like, your soldiers. So that would mean, go to dinner out with their family with them, or, maybe take them for a drink on a Friday. Every once in a while, get to know them. Yeah. I couldn't do that because if I did that, it would be a whole big deal because I was a woman. So if I was going to go out with my senior leaders who were men, whether married or not, because I got divorced after my, a year after having my son.
Yeah.
So I was a single officer. So if I were seen anywhere out with people in my unit, then that would become an investigation for fraternization. So like, I had to work around things like that. Like, how do I get to know these people to the same level that my peers do when they don't have to worry about things like that and perception.
Whoa, I never
like there was one time where my supervisor would take all of our position was executive officer, XOs. He would take all the XOs out to lunch every once in a while. It happened to be my turn. So we went to lunch, and it took less than a week for rumors to come back around. But I was married with a newborn at the time, but because I was seen in a vehicle with my boss, and I was a woman, the rumors started to fly. So it felt like sometimes my hands were tied behind my back when it came to that, but that's even the small stuff. I mean, there was definitely a lot of, if there's something I didn't agree with, I had to be careful the way that I brought it up, because women are emotional.
Oh, gosh.
Or if you're not emotional, you're aggressive.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So I really had to have evidence before I could move forward with anything, or like a plan ahead, or it had to be very exceptionally logical and laid out so that way to make them listen, because me just voicing an opinion was not something that was really taken very well. And I mean, that's kind of just the culture in general for men and women in the in the army at the time, but it was worse for women. It just was.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just felt like there was a lot I couldn't do because the risks were too high.
The risk of like rumors, or
of
like
rumors
being kicked
of
out,
people actually hitting on me and causing issues, or you know what I mean, like that happened.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I was a soldier. I was out with my friends. There was only a couple weekends that I went out to drink at this post, and one of my friends from college was from the West Point, the rugby team. They were visiting, and they were like, "Let's go out." So I was out with 3 other officers that were my friends, and someone that I had recognized from the battalion but like ignored was really drunk, and he was enlisted, and we were not supposed to hang out, right? That's against the rules.
Right.
He came up to me and whispered disgusting sexual things in my ear.
That's harassment.
It was sexual harassment, absolutely.
But how are you going to prove it?
Well, so, the burden of proof is lower in the Army than it is like in the civilian justice system,
I guess.
So I had to decide, am I going to like say anything about this or not? Not would it be easier, but I was like, okay, well, let me do the right thing, because if it gets around that he talks to me this way, I just got to be in it, and I let it pass, then it will just get worse. It's just going to continue. Yeah. So I told his group of friends there about it, and I told my boss about it the next day, and my boss, who's the lieutenant colonel, he was like, what were you doing there anyway? You shouldn't be out at that bar.
So, what?
He said, I was asking for it. That's what he said.
No.
I did not engage this soldier at all. No. I saw him, recognize him, because he helped. Like, I remember seeing him around the building, and I went the other way. He came up to me and said this, and I told him with some swear words, I said, don't fucking talk to me that way.
Yeah.
That was my reaction that day, and I went straight. I made sure I did it, aside from the F-bomb, as professionally as I could, and I told his NCO that was there at the bar, I said, this is what he said to me, you need to snatch him up and keep him from getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I did, at the time, what I thought I could do, but I went to my boss, and he still told me it was my fault.
So he's still victim blaming.
It was my fault because I went there.
Still blaming the woman for the man's actions.
Yes, because apparently I was
1930?
I was just so tempting by existing and breathing or something.
Were your shoulders even showing?
I don't know.
Like that.
I was wearing a skirt that ended just above my knee that night.
How dare you? Like that infuriates me.
It was horrible. And you know what? The next time that I was sexually harassed, guess what I didn't do?
You didn't tell anybody.
I didn't tell anybody.
That's messed up.
And it was worse the next time, and I didn't feel like I could go anywhere.
I hate that.
Yeah, and it ended up way worse for me in the end in that position, because I felt like if anything happens here, it's going to be my fault, and I need to just try and keep everything quiet. And one thing about the Army, nothing stays quiet. So instead of like my boss telling me I suck, I dealt with everyone else in the battalion spreading rumors about me. So it was like stuff like that, like, and all of this because I went to a bar with my college friends and shut someone down when they was like, verbally harassing, like sexually harassing me. So,
and if this was the other way around, it was this guy, and this all happened.
I mean, I really think it would have been
different.
It would have been different.
Yeah, it would have been like, oh no, man, that should never happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
wow,
it was frustrating.
Super.
But not everybody was like that. You know what I mean? Like there were, especially in the military police corps, because they have included women a lot longer than some of the other branches that have more tactically based.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love the MP Corps because it was, but can you do your job?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you suck? Oh, you don't suck? Okay, then come on, we don't care. So I would say that at the unit level, the lowest levels, people really didn't care. They didn't really care if you were a female or not. It was,
can you do your job?
It was the old crusties that were up higher up. They were giving me all the problems, So.
Gosh.
I don't regret getting out. I don't.
No.
And not just because that's definitely something. There are a million reasons. I love my service. It gave me so many wonderful things.
Yeah.
So many horrible things that made me better. I wouldn't change a day of it.
Right. But you're like, I won't.
But I wouldn't go back. Don't ask me to go.
You're good at
Recruiters, I don't want it. Don't contact me.
Yeah. It's like, no.
I'm done. I did my time.
You did do your time.
I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's almost like it's the military. I've always wondered if it's kind of just like soaked in the patriarchy, and I guess it kind of is.
Feels like it's half and half.
Like
if there is, it's like there's this hard line, and it really has to do with age. And I mean, because the culture changed. The Army's been trying on paper to change the culture for a long time now, but younger people will buy it. The older people won't. They just act like they do because they don't want to get fired, and that's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I don't think I could ever be in the military.
A lot of silent suffering in the military, so it's no surprise when people get out and they have mental health issues that they continue to suffer silently.
That's so true, though.
Yeah, you're conditioned to do that from the very beginning, from basic training. Oh,
Yeah.
it hurts? I don't want to hear about it. Like, shut up and keep going.
It's like, are you gonna cry about it?
So then,
go do some push-ups.
Right. So it's like, first they train you to ignore the pain in your body.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand the tactical necessity of having
like
that
in
skill.
combat. Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
But it ends up translating to mental and emotional anguish that you just have to be quiet about it. And so, they're really trying. I commend the VA and the military for trying to reverse that, but they have a lot of work to do, and they know it.
Yeah, it's what, a couple hundred years worth of.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot
that they need to definitely change. That's crazy to me. I mean, like, yeah, and people wonder why women don't say anything about
so many reasons.
Like, because it happens in the civilian world too. Of like, well, they didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me.
So
why? Or
it was my fault.
Looked at differently. I didn't want to be treated differently. Kind of like the whole whistleblower blowback type of thing. Reprisal.
Yes.
The reprisal. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, there's a lot of things to be scared of when you're trying to make someone hold someone accountable to their horrible actions.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, like, from all of that, what got you into theology? Because, like, you're pretty deep into that now.
I am knee deep into that. Yeah.
I like to say shoulder deep.
I might be barely breathing deep. Like, that's probably
like, my eyes aren't covered yet.
Yeah. I could just see above the, no, that's where I'm at. Right. Well, I did not see it coming.
Yeah.
That was never on the radar ever. I don't think I could tell you what theology really was. When I was still in the army. What happened was, I told you I had this real short deployment. I deployed my company. Yep. They were split, and I was bouncing around. But what that meant was, I was alone a lot. And because I was a provost marshal for the camp that I was staying at, I had to live alone. Yeah. In my own, you know what I mean? Like, no one else in the little baby building. Like
like you were alone.
Because of conflict of interest.
Okay.
So I really I had not been that alone for that long ever, and God used that time to just hit me with truth after ugly truth about who I really was, what I really was doing and have done. And it was like, came in waves, like each wave of realization about, well, you think you're a good daughter? Yeah. What about this? It was just as much as I could handle. It was like a lot of tears and heartbreak and just a lot of like pleading for forgiveness to God, to my family, to my friends, to my kids, even my son, in the way that he could understand it at his age. Like just my behavior and the way that I dealt with people in general. I felt like, because of my position, I felt like I had to work people to do the job right. And that just led to me being manipulative. Whoa. And I never saw it that way. I never saw it that way until God was like, this is ugly, and this is what you've done. And you're good at it, and it should scare you, not should be something you're proud of. So, like, not in horrible ways, like, not in illegal ways, manipulative, but like, I needed someone to give me an extension on something. Right. I would work every avenue I could think of to get them to be on my side. It was manipulative behavior, right? It doesn't matter if it's for a good reason.
Right.
Right. So,
it takes guts to even have that revelation first place.
I didn't know. It was not a choice, man.
No.
It was not a choice.
It
was like shoved down my throat. That's why I did the punch motion with my hands.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like.
Literally punched you in the face.
Yeah. It punched me in every part of my heart and soul.
Yeah.
And, there was a lot of writing that came out of it. And so in the end of this, I'd always been a professed Christian, but not practicing up until that point. And I had never been baptized as an adult, just as an infant in the Catholic Church. So anyway, it was like I was stuck in between Christianity and not for like my whole life.
Wow.
Until this happened, and I came out of that. I remember the night where it was finally it. Like there were other things going on there during that deployment. Aside from that was just like, at that point was the hardest thing that I had gone through. And I finally I confessed to God, I don't care anymore. Like, my life is on the verge of crumbling around me, and everything that I've poured into my reputation and my job and myself and my masks and my hats can be gone in a second.
Yeah.
And it might be like I didn't know it was going to happen. And so I confessed to Jesus, like, let it happen. Yeah. I'm finally ready for it to be ripped away, to be embarrassed in front of everyone, to have to eat my words. That's fine as long as I have you. Mm-hmm. Like, as long as I have you, I'll take it. Yeah. And I surrendered fully surrendered. And I came out of that deployment with a list of things to do in order as soon as I got back. Mm-hmm. And there were things as like trivial as like, okay, change your phone number, right? Yeah. To things as big as apply for a Bible study college, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the thing that came out of it. It was like, I know I need to go to school and study the Bible. Yeah. That was not the plan. I was going to go get my MBA somewhere at some point. That's what people in my profession did. You got an army, you went and got an MBA, and then you made a bunch of money somewhere. Like, that's what it was supposed to be. And I remember on my counseling with my, right before I left that duty station, right after I got back, I'd gotten back from the deployment, and I had about a month of just hanging out until it was time to move to Ohio. Mm-hmm. And I remember my boss's boss on a video chat with me, counseling me, and he was trying to figure out, what rating to give me or whatever. Right. And I told him that, he's like, so, what are you going to do after this? I was like, I told him, I'm going to get out and I'm going to go to Bible college. And he's like, what are you going to do with it? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. I know I'm meant to do this.
He was like, why do you want to do it? I was like, God told me.
And he's probably just like, okay.
Luckily, he was like, you know what? I respect that. And good for you. And don't lose focus. Mm-hmm. And you figured out that, like, where you need to go. He's like, maybe you don't know what job you're going to do, but you know you're going to do it. Yeah. And so from then until when I actually, started school, it was 3 years between that conversation with my commander and starting classes at my school here in Houston. Dang. And I didn't, I knew I was going to study the Bible because I needed to learn. Right. I didn't know why. But now that I finished my master's degree a few months back, 8 months ago now. Yeah. Now I know why. But it took until my last semester in my master's to understand what the heck I was doing there. But I was just like, God, I know there's a reason I'm here. I know there's a reason I'm learning this. This isn't for nothing, right? I don't get 2 GI bills. I can't, what I mean? I'm using it on this. I know this has to be.
There's a reason for it.
Something here. So that was how I got led into theology. It was unexpected, to say the least.
That's crazy. Yeah. Especially that takes a lot of guts to just go into something with literally not knowing, okay, I'm spending all of my money on this. My time. Your mental.
My mental. That was the hardest. Because I started the same semester, the same month that I got out of the Army. Mm-hmm. Was the same month I started school. There was no break in between. There was no transition period.
And you were working at the organization with me.
That was before.
Okay, that was before.
Yeah, so I started out just going to school and being a stay-at-home mom. Okay. But having gotten out of the Army, my mental health, it hit me hard. My PTSD, depression, anxiety was really bad. For that first year. Mm-hmm.
Because it's just overwhelming.
I did, all of the stuff that happened in the Army that I could finally let go of and breathe, it just came for me. It was like, I want to process now, all at the same time. And I was like, oh, I got homework.
You're like, I have to do this
Yeah,
Greek homework
it was
or
really
whatever.
bad. Yeah, it was really bad for me.
Wow.
But, you know, made it there. Thankfully, my instructors were really gracious, and they should have failed me, and they didn't.
Yeah. And so, like, what do you want to do with it? Because now you're getting your Ph.D. in it.
I am. Yeah, now I know what it is. I get the whole plan now.
Okay.
The plan is to, so I'm going to, focus, hopefully the dissertation will be about domestic violence within the church.
Dang.
So, you know, that can take a lot of forms, and I'm
Yep.
still, it's the first semester, so I have a lot of time to figure out exactly what's the specific problem statement here.
Right.
But it's going to have to do with, like, the whole goal is, how can I dive into scripture to try and give these church leaders scriptural, you know, evidence for why they should care and how they should care for their survivors of domestic violence that are within their congregations. And there's going to have to be another element to that, because it's not just the survivors, but those survivors are probably in a relationship with another one of their congregants. They're probably married or something like that.
Yep.
So it's about caring for the abuser as well.
Dang.
And how does a pastor do that?
Yeah.
And how do we keep, you know, the person being abused safe while still trying to stay true to God's word, which, you know, they always tend to point to, but you're married, so you can't divorce, which is a whole other thing that
Oh my gosh.
I will
so
wait
much-
to get into. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, we got to navigate. I have to navigate things like that, and before I even go and approach these people, these leaders, because that's a real problem for them.
Yeah.
Because anything that threatens the faith is something that gets thrown out. So I have to make sure that if I do this the right way, I have a product to offer them, whether it's a plan or just, you know, new knowledge or something that will help them know that they're not abandoning their faith, they're not abandoning scripture by helping these people be safe.
Because there's also, I think there's something to be said for turning a blind eye to something. Like, like you see it happening, you know it's happening. Maybe someone in your church came to you and was like, hey, by the way, my husband beats me.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything. They're like, well, the Bible says you have to stay married, so you can't divorce.
You can't divorce.
I mean,
you need to submit more.
Yes.
Be the Proverbs 31 woman that, like, you know, like.
Yes. I had
so many things taken out of context.
A friend of mine just went through a really bad divorce, and like that was a lot of the things that were like people were telling her at the church was just like, oh well, you need to submit more, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like it's all her fault. Yeah. And I'm like, no, he's a piece of crap.
Well, and I have like a scripture on my fridge right now that talks about. I'm bad at memorizing scripture actual chapters. I study the Bible, but I can't keep them straight. I think it's in Proverbs though. Anyway, I don't know. It's somewhere in the Bible. But it talks about how it's the only one that talks about how a woman's conduct can bring her man to faith. Yeah. Right? And so that can be used as a weapon.
Oh, 100%.
Like, and it has been, you know, and it's even people using it against themselves as a weapon, and not realizing that's what they're doing. It's not all just on church leaders, you know.
Right.
So there are just so many things that can be dangerous about scripture when it comes to domestic abuse, toxic relationships, family abuse in general, right? Like, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. People take that literally. Yes. And that's more than a problem. That's a travesty.
That's awful.
Yes. So
absolutely terrible.
I'm trying to take. It's a huge, massive problem, right?
Yeah.
Outside the church, inside the church, I'm trying to take one sliver of that and hopefully be able to present a product. Literature and thinking that can be added to what people have access to in seminary. Yeah. You know, so this is something they could start thinking about before they go out and get into their congregations. Yes. So that's the goal. That's where I feel like all of this has led me to. Wow. And I do truly believe with everything in me that the mission God has placed before me with this PhD. So I'm just like,
that's amazing.
Let's do it.
Did my friend tell you her idea?
Yes.
What Becca said?
Yes. I love it.
Right?
Yes.
I said, you need to tell her.
I love it. I'm supposed to write it down somewhere so I don't forget.
She's just one of those people
who
has those crazy ideas.
So that was like basically putting together a group that can go in and kind of do like these sensing sessions or audits of churches and how they run to keep people honest. Yes. To make sure there's not like tomfoolery or straight up like crimes happening behind the scenes. Yeah.
Because I have seen it. I have seen churches cover up the most heinous crimes. And it is awful because I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it.
No.
Which sucks. But like, yeah, they have covered up the most heinous things I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I've worked with victims of domestic violence and human trafficking. I've seen heinous stuff before, but like seeing the church cover it up, pastors covering things up and not being there for that person, or like victim blaming and saying that it's her fault that this happened, and so therefore she's not able to be on the worship team, she's not able to serve, she's all done with whatever it was that she was involved in, like, nope, can't have any part of it, and like stalking her, and it's just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the opposite of what Jesus would do.
It is.
It's a complete opposite.
It is the opposite. And so, a common belief, and one I subscribe to as well, is that, in the Old Testament, the people, the Israel wanted a king.
Yeah.
He said, give us a king. All the other nations have a real king. Give us a king.
Yeah.
God gave them kings, and each king got worse than the last.
Yep.
And if nothing else, that entire process over centuries showed that you're not going to get the leader that you need in any human on this earth. There's only one, and he came 2,000 years ago. His name is Jesus.
Yeah.
And you only get one of them.
Yeah.
He's
good
gone
luck trying
now.
to find another one.
Yeah, exactly. He's alive there, but he's not going to be your king on earth. And that's the thing, I think that that's what happens essentially just in another form. So a lot of these church leaders is they're like, they really believe they're the king of that church. They really believe that they are, I'm the vessel to God and it's just me. So
right, like you have to go through me in some way.
They stop trying to discern. Are these thoughts, are these actions, are these plans really God's will, or are they just my pride? And like that's all it takes to go down the wrong way.
What is that verse? Pride cometh before a fall?
Big fall.
a big fall
ugly fall
on your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously.
Pride is the biggest problem in terms of sin. It is the source of, in my opinion, every single sin comes from pride.
Yep.
The dog.
Sorry, that dog is something else.
I know.
He doesn't bark, but he's like
scratching at things.
He's like, get me in here. It's like, no, you're gonna mess up.
We tried.
We tried that already. It didn't work.
It's not happening today.
This is just a question I have, but like, I feel like other people might want to know too. What would you say to people who have walked away from the church because of these things, because of the crimes that they do cover up, or just their conduct and the way that they treat people who are in vulnerable situations such as domestic violence?
I would say that you had every reason to walk away from that congregation, that establishment, but that is not the church that God envisioned for this world.
No.
I have yet to come across any kind of church. I've never been to a service where I was like, they got it. Like, at every level, especially after having gone through, my, biblical studies degree. Like, I feel convinced that there is no church out there that has everything right.
No, absolutely not.
But Christianity, because a church failed you, doesn't mean that Christianity will fail you. That church, that leader, whoever it was that treated you horribly, they lost God. They forgot God somewhere along the way. So, if there's no one around you that you feel like at this moment you can trust with your spiritual well-being, trust God with it. Start there. That's what I would say. And, there are healthy spaces to worship all around. And maybe a day will come where you, feel confident enough to discern what that might be, or maybe you need help from a trusted friend. But don't give up on the idea of worshiping in a group. But that can wait. I think what's most important is your relationship with Christ, and
your personal
relationship, because God doesn't fail us. The people fail us.
Yes.
And that's what happens in every single one of those situations. So I think that's the biggest travesty for me, is that some people often, and like I said, understandably, will think, you know what, this church that I truly trusted and put my whole everything into, they failed me, and so Christianity failed me, and religion failed me, and my faith failed me, and God failed me. And that is where it makes me really sad, because no, God doesn't fail us. He doesn't arrive in the way we expect.
Right.
Hardly ever.
Yeah.
But he's faithful in every way, in every manner, for all time. So differentiate the people from God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like church trauma.
It's
a real thing.
It's real.
You know,
Absolutely.
and it's really sad. I think church trauma has been around for centuries, like
the beginning.
Since the beginning, because guess what? The first church, the early church, they weren't perfect.
Yeah, the Bible tells us
At all.
how many problems they had.
All the problems.
That's all Paul was doing, was like putting out these problems from church to church.
Like these are the issues, and it's like, of course there's issues because they're human.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Wow, that was heavy, but it was good though.
Yeah, these are things that need to be said out loud, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about church trauma. They don't want to even think that that's a thing. Like, no, my church? Nah.
They don't want to hear the word God.
Right.
I've been there.
Yeah.
There was like a 2-year window where any thoughts of God, I just suppressed them.
Yeah.
I'm just sick to my stomach, and I'm just, I don't want to, I didn't pray, I didn't open the Bible.
Right.
I just tried to live a life without God anywhere.
And just see how that went.
I ended up suicidal.
Yeah.
That's where it went for me.
That's
you know,
crazy.
like I felt completely empty. So
Mm-hmm.
I already went down the path of living life without God, and I know where that ends.
Yeah.
And that's not a place I want to be again. But everybody receives God in different ways, is willing to hear God in different ways. He reaches to us in different ways.
Exactly.
And so,
it's not going to look the same for everybody.
Well, that was my experience. I don't
experience.
expect that to be the same for everyone. So I'm definitely not saying that.
No. Which, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, okay. I've changed my question so much today.
That's good. That means it's just like flowing.
I know. Like, I'm not even going to try to have the same questions. I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. So, like, with theology being, like, your thing, have there been, like, misconceptions from other people of, like maybe your friends or something like that, of being like, oh, she's a theology major. Like, she's a prude, or she's this or that. Like, do you ever get that? Like, misconceptions?
No. And I think for 2 reasons.
Good.
I think the first reason I don't get that is that most people don't know what theology is. Just like I didn't until I was like signing up for classes, right? For real.
So wild.
That's real.
It's so wild.
I think the other reason is that I don't lead with the fact that I'm into theology. So people get to know me first.
Good.
And they already know I'm not a prude. So that's not their first question when they found out I did theology. It's like, it's more like, you do theology?
Like, I never would have pictured you doing theology.
It's always a surprise to people. And I'm like, yep.
It's because you were literally one of the least judgmental people I know. Like, you're not.
I swear a lot too. I think that
you do swear a lot. I remember when I first met you, you were like, yeah, I'm like trying not to swear as much. And I was like, why?
And I was like, I probably said I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You said, I don't know. And I think you said something about being a theology student.
Yeah, people. Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, I remember that now. There was
a
time where I was like, you know, like this.
Yeah, that's how you think.
You know, I don't want to like bring down the reputation of Christians with my potty mouth. But with the people that I interact with. And I was like, damn out. I don't
Thank you.
Really, is there actually a commandment that says don't use cuss words, don't swear?
Also, the cuss words back in the Bible time is going to be different than what we have now.
Right, that's not it.
No.
You know what? I could tell you, Sitinna, you're fucking beautiful. Is it a sin for me to say that? No, because you know what? I said that with love.
Yeah, you did.
I sure did.
And you did. Let's go.
Now, if I were to make you feel bad and I was like, Sitinna, you are like scum of the earth. Did I swear? No. Was that a sin? Absolutely was.
Because you're being
mean
unkind.
and judgmental and unkind, and there was no love in it.
Exactly.
So when I finally thought about that, I was like, well, that's dumb. I'm gonna swear whatever I feel like, as long as it's not swearing to cuss people out or
exactly.
That I really do try to not do, and I don't use GD.
Yeah, no.
I don't like it because that really is.
Yeah.
That seems like
do you
scary,
get,
blasphemous line I don't want to mess around with.
Right.
I don't want to poke the bear. It's a big bear.
You're like, I'm good.
I'll keep that one out of it.
I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
Sometimes it happens when I burn myself because it hurts. That's the only time I say it. Yeah, but it's like hard to control in that moment. I did grow up with the sailor's mouth, and so it's been a lot of work for me to like. But no, I will continue to swear.
Yeah, because I mean, I grew up thinking that like, oh, swearing is bad, and then I don't remember where the switch was for me, where I was like, you know what? Where is it in the Bible?
It's not.
Why is that? And then I thought to myself, oh my gosh, is it a way for Christians to literally try to be like, I'm better than you?
I think that's what it mostly
And I
does
kind of think
now.
it's like this whole like, it's almost like if someone else swears and you're a Christian, then it's almost like you're saying like, yeah, I'm on a pedestal. Like, I'm way better than you because I don't do that.
And you
but
know
it's
what?
like, yeah, but you over there are gossiping and talking
Yeah.
horribly about Betty Lou over here.
You're cheating on your husband.
You're cheating on your husband. You're doing that with the youth pastor. I don't know.
All the tea. All the tea.
Like all the tea. Like I see you. So therefore, sure, maybe I swear and you don't, but at least I'm not sitting there talking bad about people.
Check your heart.
Yes,
Check your heart.
What is it? Take out the plank in your own eye before you look at the speck in someone else's?
Yes. Very
Yeah.
good. Look at it. He's just throwing scripture around today.
I was a youth coordinator for a while.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I'm like, no, screw that.
No,
Like,
I am not anti-swearing. And you know what I've noticed? So, because evangelism, telling people about the good word that aren't
Yes.
Christians is huge, right? Like,
Right.
as it should be.
yes.
What I've noticed is that when people find out that I am both a Christian and they realize that, like, sometimes they'll be like, I'm sorry, I swore. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
that's
I've got
okay.
that. I've got
I don't, like, I swear all the time.
Yeah.
I can see the tension melt off of them, away from them. It creates this big, like obstacle. It's like
It
there's
does.
it's a distancing effect between,
And
you know,
I hate
people
that.
who do swear. And it's like, I don't want that. Like, let's bring
Which-
it in.
Which I think that, I'm telling you, I think that's why it was created in the first place.
To separate
To
us
separate.
from, yeah.
To
but-
be like, I'm not worldly.
but
And I'm like, wait, but didn't Paul say, was it Paul? I don't remember. Someone in the Bible, in the New Testament, said, like, you can be in the world but not of the world. But
Yes.
but you
Yeah.
that was Paul?
It was Paul.
Yes.
And you're
Call
right.
me a theology student.
I mean, you have been, whether you know it or not, girl. You go to church.
Yeah, and I did
For
do
the
theology
longest.
in college.
Yeah,
and
see?
And in high school.
There are a lot of theologians out there that don't know that they are. You're one of them.
Oh my gosh, stop.
No, you're right. I mean, it's like, we want to include people. We want to bring them in the fold. And you know what? Even if they're not going to stay and become a Christian, that's okay. But like, show Jesus' love to them. Like, show them that they really are welcome, even if they're not going to stay, and we still love them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're supposed to do. And gosh, that's like the easiest way to live.
It
like
is.
I've been able to let go of so much frustration and anger because I really am able to approach others that way. Strangers.
Yep.
People who cut me off on the road even. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's I feel like it's added years to my life because a lot of stress is just gone when I'm like, you know what? Like,
Less gray hair.
I'm supposed to love people, not like rub their nose in what I think that their dirt is.
Exactly.
That's not my job.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not allowed and I'm not equipped.
Nope. So
Don't try.
yeah, I think that's kind of like, I feel like I've learned a lot just from being in the church. I don't go to a church right now because I haven't found one that I liked.
It's important. Yeah.
I went to Joel Osteen's church and I was not a fan.
Ew.
I think Ryan sent a text to me and Becca, my friend, the other day, and he was like, the sentence was, Joel Osteen eats pizza bites or something, and I was like, that's so random.
I love pizza bites.
Yeah, don't ruin them.
What's wrong?
But he is one of those people that I can't stand because I'm like, you have his net worth online, it says, now I don't know if it's true, but I'm sure it's not that far off, $50 million.
It's disgusting.
And he has a $65 million jet that he goes and shares the gospel in. And I'm like, you wonder why, like, people don't like you? Or you wonder why maybe people are skeptical of Christianity when you are, in fact, one of the largest churches in America, and you are taking money from the poor, if you think about it, because there are people of all types that go to Lakewood.
Absolutely.
All types. You've got the rich billionaires, you've got the congresswomen and men, and then you've also got the people who are low income. You've got people from the streets. coming in, going to church, and they're putting in their pennies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's going to him.
Because it's not like an affluent part of Houston where his church is.
No, it's not.
I know.
It's not. It's off of Kirby.
Yeah.
Which is not the greatest part of
Houston.
Houston.
It's not.
You know?
So I've heard, I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
But I heard that he had to change his status from pastor to motivational speaker because he got caught up.
In that prosperity gospel?
He got caught up. I think there was like some undercover, this is all hearsay, mind you.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
But
what I had heard
comment below what you think too.
But what I heard was there was like some undercover or something, I don't know, some journalist that talked to someone in his family and they said too much and that blew it open. And so now, he has to pay taxes on things, which is also
good.
Why he had to sell his other campus that was like maybe like North Houston, maybe Cy-Fair area.
Yeah.
Because the taxes would be too much for the property because he wasn't tax-free anymore. And I hope it's true. Because that would make me happy.
I hope so. I mean, their website still says 501c3.
Does it?
But
something about his actual
maybe
position.
His actual position.
Yeah, I think the ministries are still, but like him specifically, he's not allowed to claim that he's a pastor.
Good.
I just hope that's true because that feels like a little bit like justice. That guy's a fraud.
No, he's 100% a fraud. I'm like, good job, dude. You're literally taking money from people. He didn't want to open up the church for people during Hurricane Harvey. Like, there's just so many things. I'm like, no.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was very young, I mean middle school, right? Like, and he was on the free channel that I had in my little TV in the room. I felt like hearing him talk did give me some strides in being closer to God at that age.
Right.
Because it was just exposure to Jesus.
But
as soon as someone has enough knowledge to know, to know what the gospel is about, and then they start listening to him, then he's destructive.
Yes.
And
most of his sermons are about the same. I've been to 4 of his sermons because my
just pray and you'll get it.
Yes, but also
speak into existence. What is this?
I'm like, huh?
God's a genie now?
I'm so confused.
So if my cancer doesn't go away, it's because I didn't pray hard enough? Is that what you're telling me, Joel?
No, seriously.
Because that is unbiblical.
No, seriously. So my friend, again, Becca, you're getting a lot of shout outs in this. She had Lyme disease. And so, she was like, yeah, this would not have been a good sermon for me to listen to, when I was sick. And I'm like, yeah, no. Because it would have been just the whole, you're not praying hard enough, and blah, blah, blah. And
exactly.
I'm like, that is so toxic.
Yeah. I mean, that goes back to Job.
Yeah.
That goes back to Job because, it was Job's friends that were trying to comfort him, but saying, well, if all of this tragedy happened to you, it's because you sinned. Figure it out. What did you do wrong?
Yep.
And Job was like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't. And that was the argument in Job, right? Mm-hmm. But that was a common type of belief back then was if you are blessed, it's because you're right with God. If you are not blessed in terms of finances and riches and things like that, then it's because you sinned. And he is bringing that back around.
Yep.
But it has always been unbiblical, even before the New Testament existed. And so it's just more of these literally ancient lies coming back around to just wreak more havoc.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's just, the church can be a good thing, and it can be destructive.
Yeah.
Because
it needs to be watched closely.
It does. And I think that's the problem, is that there isn't enough oversight at all.
No,
there's
not.
All that to say, I have not found a church here in Houston.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I totally was like, wait, I'm bringing it back around.
Yeah.
I haven't found a church here in Houston, but I also don't feel like I need to necessarily find a church to feel like I'm close to God or not, and it's my own relationship. And I have friends who are clearly in the Word, and I do my own thing, and I don't know. If I find a church, cool.
Yeah.
Haven't found one yet. There was one I have found, but it was it's all the way in Austin.
So that's really
I'm not going all the way to Austin.
Well, I encourage everyone to never stop looking because there's something you get from worshiping in a group that we can't get on our own. You know what I mean? And it doesn't need to happen every week.
No.
But just as long as it happens here and there, at least.
Yes.
At least.
I need to go to your church at some point.
I think you'll like my church, and it's really close to your house. It's 10 minutes away.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And we still need, it's the same area as the putt-putt place that we were trying to go to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. We should We should try to go to Public Place too again.
That Belgian.
Yes.
It was like 2 minutes away.
That place.
It's so good. The place is good.
We went again like not too long ago.
Did you?
It was so good.
It is good. It's quality.
Yeah, it is. So, okay, my last few questions, because I think we've been like over an hour. Oops. I kind of figured it would go that way, but it's okay.
I promised I would do better this time.
No, what? It's fine. No, you don't. No. This is what the people want.
Okay, I'll give them what they
people
want.
want it. Yeah, give them what they want. So, if you had the attention of the world for 5 minutes, what would you want people to know?
I would encourage them to love more. And I remember on our first take, that was my answer, and it hasn't changed.
Good.
Like, because I truly believe that, love is more than just romantic love that we see in movies, of course. Yeah. I can have love for people I've never met. It's like compassion.
Yeah.
That's love. That's a form of love. Love. So I really, truly believe God is working in a person when they allow themselves to love, no matter what it is. Unselfish love, And so, like, if the more that people love, the better the world is. The more they experience God, the better the world is. And so I think that's what we're missing, but we'll always be missing until God fixes all of this. But that doesn't mean that we don't try to make it better. Like, this is our home. This is our world. This is ours, and we need to take ownership of it and love people, but love the earth more. Like, love more. Love everything. Love, like, find ways to love.
Yes.
And recycle.
Come on, people.
Gosh.
Texas is terrible about that.
Oh my goodness, I know.
It makes me really sad.
I know. My family came to visit, and they were like, "Where's your recycling bin?" I was like,
"That doesn't exist."
And they were like, "What?"
I know.
They were
crazy to
upset.
Me.
So yeah, that 5 minutes. I would say love more, and I would try and convince them why it's important.
Yeah. No, that's good. I had the world. For 5 minutes, I would say the same thing. I think love is what's going to heal people.
The only thing that heals.
The only thing that's going to heal people.
That's it. And it is the deepest source of motivation I've experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Like, love for my kids, love for my family, love for my soldiers, love for my friends, love for like, that is what gets me off my ass and out the door.
Yes.
Some days that's it. That's the only thing, Yeah.
That's good. Dang, you're good at this. Have you done podcasting before?
Ma'am.
The first take.
Oh, I meant generally speaking.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, generally speaking, this is your first one?
Yeah. I'm not cool like that.
This is special. I've never been on a podcast either. This is literally my first one. Like, first podcast thing. What has been your favorite part of this episode?
What was it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We talked about so much. Harry Potter?
I don't know. Honestly, any of the times where I laughed, hard. There was a lot of them.
There was a lot of laughing.
You make me laugh a lot, and I love that. So, like, I can't even pick one. It was just all the laughs.
I just look at her sometimes, she'll be like, and then we start snorting.
We do. Well, she wheezes.
I wheeze like an old man, and then she snorts like
a pig.
Okay, I didn't want to say it. I don't know why.
Whatever, it's endearing.
Yeah, it's super cute.
I guess if there's a topic though that I'm happiest that came up.
Yeah.
It was your question about, like, what would you say to people that have left the church because they were let down by the church? Because hopefully there's someone down the road that hears that and feels encouraged. And I was faced with that. There's a reason why domestic violence in the church came to mind. It was a lot of reasons, but I had a pastor that told me that my kids would be worse off if I stayed in an abusive relationship, or if I had left the abusive relationship. He told me that divorce is not an option, and if I do leave them, I can't marry anyone else. And do you really want that? And it was just like
toxic.
He pinned me in a corner where there was only one option: stay and shut up about it. That was it. And so it's like this is the first time I went to help, and this is the answer I get. I know this is happening everywhere else.
Yes.
So, like,
happens all the time.
All the time. So, I don't want these wonderful people that, God's children to feel ignored by the world anymore.
Ugh. I hate that.
Yeah.
It goes back to like I see a pattern of like people going to authority and authority literally just being like, shut up and just
go back to your home.
Yeah, just rub some dirt on that wound. It's fine. Keep going.
Yeah.
You know, like that. It happens in the church, the militaries, and like everywhere else.
That's why Me Too exploded.
Oh,
like it was high time.
There was a reason for that.
But things haven't changed that much. People are just more careful so they don't get canceled. That's like,
yes.
That's it.
Yes, that's so true. Because people still don't believe women.
Lizzo supporters came screaming out the door, you know, and it's like,
oh my gosh,
that's a lot of different sources saying the same thing. Like, you sure they're all lying for money?
So I made a video on TikTok.
Did you?
About that situation, about the Lizzo situation.
Yeah.
So the first one, people hated it, and they were like, oh my gosh, you're the worst, and you're fat shaming it. And I was like, I didn't realize that saying this about someone was fat shaming, but okay. So then I deleted that because I was like, ugh, whatever, people are stupid. And then I was like, you know what, whatever, never mind. So I just put it back up. Or not that video, but I made another one and just was like, this is what I think. I think that victim blaming is not cool either.
Yeah.
And also, I think that if Lizzo was a man, people would hop on that train of like, yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
Right?
They would absolutely believe it.
But because Lizzo is a woman, because Lizzo is maybe in the minority.
And she's popular
she's
right
black,
now.
She's a woman, she's this, she's that. So everyone's like, I have to protect her. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to believe either side if you don't want. But what was crazy about that is someone stitched my video. So meaning that they...
I know what...
Okay, thank you. I was about to explain it to her.
I'm old again. I know what a stitch is. Oh my God.
For the old people that watch this that don't know, no, I'm just kidding. So someone stitched my video, and they were like, actually, yes, I agree with you. And I was like, I wasn't like prepared for that, because all the other stitches were like, oh my gosh, you're fat shaming. But this one girl was like, I knew dancers that worked with Lizzo. This was like a bigger account. And she was like, she goes, I knew dancers that worked with Lizzo, and they told me their experiences, and they tried to tell someone about it, and no one believed them.
See?
And I was like,
it's everywhere.
I was like, oh crap, like, oh my gosh.
Because here's the thing,
and it makes me so sad.
Here's the one little piece of, I guess, evidence, not really, that I needed. The only one I needed is these dancers are no names to us, right?
Right.
They're in a career field that's really hard to get in, at a level that's really hard to get to.
Yep.
Yet, I know that they know if they were to come out with any kind of allegations that were unfounded, they would never work again.
Yeah.
That is something that they had to weigh in their risks about whether or not to come forward.
Right.
And you can't tell me that someone that worked that hard to get to where they are...
Why would they do it all the way to lie?
And all of them, just to...
Clarify.
Like, I just don't see... Like, of course, it's not real evidence, but, like, that stood out to me. And that's something that needs to be explained if everyone's going to say that they're lying to get money from a lawsuit.
Right.
Really?
It's
like someone that dances to that level has a passion for dancing.
Yes.
Like, they're not
to get to an artist as big as Lizzo.
Lizzo
is freaking huge.
That they dedicated their whole life to this.
Yeah, like she has a huge following, and
they don't just want a settlement and that's it, I'll never dance again. Like they're doing it because it needs to be done, and why would that be?
Because it happened. And the crazy part is that the dancers have not swayed from their story. They haven't like added anything or anything like that. Like it has stayed consistent through each of them.
And just like there's way too many sources for it to be just.
I'm like, all of these sources are all saying the exact same thing, and I find that interesting. Mm-hmm. So, and I know Lizzo like put out a little like I would. She
it's as ridiculous as it sounds.
Yes.
Manipulative.
Yes, like basically saying like. Putting herself as the victim, and she also didn't want to acknowledge that this was happening, and I thought that was interesting.
So
I was
narcissists do,
and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm telling you, if Lizzo was a man, this would be completely different.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, they're threatening everything that makes her special. It's what she sings about. It's what she stands for. That is her brand.
It is, but she's going against that brand by being not body positive at all, and like shaming them, and then like what was the other thing, like kind of forcing them to do sexual things that she does not.
Yes,
like they didn't want to do it.
So it's like she.
Otherwise, what they'll get fired.
Otherwise, they'll get fired. Yeah.
Like, dang.
So it's like what I'm saying is the whole perception that the mask that she puts out to the world that I am body positive, right, is the biggest moneymaker she has.
Yep.
It's not her music, it's not her dancing. It's
No.
the fact that she sells this message that people badly need out there.
Yeah.
And so if
And
something is your greatest moneymaker,
it's an important message.
exactly, like you know, selfish people will want to make sure that that stays protected at all costs, or else they're going to lose their money. It all comes down to money.
It does come down to money. And like the sad thing is that she had such a good message. It's true.
She did, and
body
I
positivity.
loved it.
Yes, me too.
I didn't like her music that much, but I liked her message.
Same. I was like,
So I felt
she
so
makes
let down.
people feel like empowered and all of this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is great.
No,
and then now I'm like,
was really sad to hear that. Cause like,
there was.
I needed a little Lizzo in my life. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
and
I feel
like,
pretty about myself.
I wasn't super into her music, and like,
No, I didn't like her songs.
Didn't really like some of her vibes. Like some of her vibes just felt weird to me. But like, I don't know. I didn't think she was a bad person.
Yeah. No,
you know?
that's
like this was not the thing.
Jekyll and
that
Hyde
came
stuff right there.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I was like, maybe I wasn't a huge fan of you, but I didn't think think that she was like that. So I guess time will tell and see what's true and what's not.
Can't wait for that trial.
Same.
I hope there's no NDA. I want to know.
Right? I'm like, if there's an NDA, I'll be like, that. Or if she tries to do like a settlement.
Yeah.
I hope they don't.
Yeah,
do
exactly.
That.
That's
I
what
hope
like
not. Because then that's gonna prove her point that it would be for money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I doubt that they'll do that. So there's that. But anyway, now that we've gotten our little pop culture. Okay, everyone. That is probably going to be the end of our podcast.
Or
my podcast. Just kidding.
She's the short one.
I am the short one. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Yecenia, did you have fun?
I had fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks
That
for
felt really
coming.
natural.
Yeah, I told you, I'm so glad it got redone.
Like, this one felt so much better to me.
That last one was
a
bumpy road.
It wasn't a bumpy road. It was just, she was talking about stuff that, like, I think is more private than like, everyone else used to know. In my opinion.
Yeah.
So, there's that. I would say you can follow Yecenia online, but I think she's pretty private. Are you private? I think your Instagram is private.
It is.
Okay, never mind.
You could ask.
You can ask. She might.
If you're not sketch, I might say yes.
She might say yes. She might not. Her boyfriend is a cop, so there's that.
Yeah, so be easy. Okay?
Yeah, be nice. Anyways, I never know how to end these episodes. I just did one with one of my friends, Julie, and we both went like this. She goes, "This is the way we end our podcast. Bye."
My first image was like us doing a nerdy high five.
Life is short, and so am I.